talking about thriving, the comment that was made that seems to be a comment I hear a lot, we all see that, and I don't know if it's all see within this room or as a community we see, but many people, I think, inherent to what we need to do is educating people about the fact that if other people in our community thrive, we thrive. Because I think that's a really big cheer. I don't think 50% of Madison gets that if you aren't thriving, I'm not thriving. Because they're thriving, they're having fun, everything's going good. So that's just, yeah.
But if white people are thriving, why isn't that spilling over, you know, and why isn't that cascading into a thriving condition?
I'm saying we need a piece of this maybe to educate that piece. Because I believe that if parts of my community that aren't thriving start thriving, the whole community will thrive and benefit. I believe there are a lot of people that can't see how or why that is even possible. And if I even start in low levels to explain that, it's hitting brick walls. So I'm just saying a piece of that, of what we're trying to do, could be to educate. If we all thrive, we're all thrive. You know, if you thrive, we all thrive.
There's a conversation about cultural, even to even understand what the word thrive is, because I think in US, the colonized way of thinking of thriving means that you have a home, you have education, means you have property, means that you have things, and I think that's what we're talking about. There's got to be a shift where thrive does not mean property and how many bedrooms you have in your home. That thriving means something different. Thriving means a social good. And that is a bold statement to say, like, now instead of having 4 bedrooms in your house, you're going to have 2 because that's all you need. So other people can have 2 bedrooms as well. So I think that is what we're talking about. How do we change even the concept of vocabulary and how we talk about things and make other definitions?
Yes.
Sorry.
And we, in our context, we weren't even talking about thriving in the sense of if you're thriving, everyone's thriving. We were talking about people being able to define thriving as you are sustaining and you are good.
Right, yeah.
Right? Not in the sense that, you know, if white people are thriving, then you're thriving. We're saying in this context, in this community, and being able to duplicate that in other communities, that people can say, I am defining for myself that I am thriving and I'm okay. That's what we were saying, is that based on where I stand right now, I feel like I am thriving, and I can say that based on my condition. I'm employed, I'm housed, I feel educated, I have the means to take care of my family, whatever, as an individual, as a family member in this community, wherever I am in the United States or in another country, I am thriving. But I'm defining that, not by anyone else's construct. That's what we meant by thriving. And that is the model that I think that we should be trying to strive for, because that's the thing with equity. If someone's trying to define a construct, it should be defined by that individual or that family, not by some system. And that's what's been wrong with white supremacy culture, is that it's always been defined by something and not by the individual or that family. Thriving should be defined by that individual or that family. They should be able to say they're sustaining, not that thing, right? That's the new language that we should be trying to reach.
I think an example that we were using as we were talking about this is this thing that sometimes, you know, that we as white people do, where we're like, well, and I'm in the arts, so, you know, we're like, well, I think that this show is awesome, and I feel like when I get to see shows like this, I am thriving, and gee, why aren't all those people in the community coming to see our shows? They would be thriving if they saw, you know, whatever, Kiki Boots or whatever. So we say, well, let's give out free tickets. And that, because I'm sure it's just a question of cost barrier, but the thing is, but the content, I mean, making the assumption that that show will improve someone else's life, you're overlooking all the content, also the barriers to even getting there, the childcare, I mean, whether it's culturally relevant. So by sort of imposing our idea of what thriving is, sometimes we're missing out, and so that's why individuals also need to have a, be able to.
I just want to point out something someone said was, when we hear this conversation, we're all education and social people, and the collective impact would address that this is not about nonprofits fixing the solution. We need the policymakers, all the sectors here to talk about that, to hear what you just said, like, don't tell me what to do sort of thing. Let's figure it out together. So.
One thing that I'm thinking of is Bhutan's Gross National Happiness Index. And a lot of the things that, there are 9 measures within that index and then 30 sub-measures, and a lot of the things that fall within those 9 measures are things that we've been talking about for the last month. And so maybe we need to study up on that. Kathy, did you have?
I was, again, going to say that if you want to take the Gross National Happiness Index, even, and put it to whatever use, that what I wasn't trying to name whatever Thrive meant or anything, but more that there's this place of having to really, I don't like the word educate as much as give experiences of, and let people take their education to this, getting them to know the problems, getting them to understand that, because, and if you've never lived in a dump pile in India, you really don't know what it's like, I mean, we talk about poverty in the United States, and if you haven't seen it in other countries, our poverty is pretty rich, it really is. So it's a different kind of paradigms, but I guess that's the word I would put it, how we can help people with their paradigms, shift them, so that, they're not, that's what I'd say, paradigm shift.